Welcome to the SpeedStudio podcast, where art accelerates business, design drives performance, and we explore the culture of speed with athletes, business leaders, and creatives who define it. Welcome to the SpeedStudio podcast. That's the second time I've been able to say that. We're on episode 114, and excitingly so, we have our first guest of the SpeedStudio podcast today.
The SpeedStudio rebrand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we really, before we get into that, we're really appreciative of all the positive feedback that people sent around the rebrand. And, you know, it's confirmed for us that we made the right decision. And if you think it's stupid, you haven't told us, just keep that to yourself.
No, you can still tell us. I want to hear it. I want to hear why.
So it's
I haven't heard from John Trainer yet, so maybe he's
true.
got an opinion on it.
It is a brisk, when I say brisk, like a 22-degree morning in Atlanta. I went for a little jog and am now pretty exhausted. But I'm going to, slam a couple coffees and we'll be ready to go. It's
unusually cold November. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we get out of this soon.
Yeah. But today's guest is really, really cool guy. So Johnny Persón, he's the founder of Aug11. It is a emerging apparel brand. He specifically right now focuses on really, really cool hats. And, he's the type of person where when you meet him, you're like, this guy is an entrepreneur through and through.
Yeah.
And we met at the Crank It Up event, the Wahoo Crank It Up event through mutual friends.
I didn't get a chance to meet then. I was talking.
Yeah, you didn't get a chance to meet him then. And afterward, we immediately started talking about like design and, designing hats, designing kits, all of these things. And I knew, okay, we got to get this guy on the podcast because, again, the through line of business, entrepreneurship, design, culture, and sport couldn't have been more clear.
Yep. A lot of alignment there, and Johnny's a good storyteller, and he's got a good story to tell.
He does. So, he's done a lot of podcasts. If you want to get his full background of who he is personally, I encourage you to go listen to any of the numerous podcasts that he's on because his story is very inspiring. Because there's so much of that story out there, we didn't ask him as much around his personal life, and we really focused in on running, on the brand, on the design, fashion, all of those things. And I think the conversation is really inspiring because he's a solopreneur. A lot of times you meet entrepreneurs like us and you have, 2-3 founders. And I think the fact that when you meet someone who's a solopreneur, they're able to just grind it out on their own and in a relatively new city for him because he's not from Atlanta.
Yeah.
I find that very impressive.
I honestly don't know how someone does it alone.
It's a lot of self-motivation.
Yeah, it really
a lot
is.
of self-motivation. So
a lot of belief. This is a high energy episode. So buckle your chin straps and get ready. We start off 100 miles an hour, and we do not let up. It's a lot of fun.
So I encourage you, after the podcast, go check out his brand, get yourself a hat. He's got really cool designs. So make sure you like, subscribe, share the SpeedStudio podcast. Again, Nikki and Chad Strickland, your hosts. We're excited to be here. So let's get into the interview. Thanks for being on the podcast today. It's funny, when Jacob introduced me to you, and then we briefly talked about design and everything. And we didn't really get to talk about anything else after that because we were just the event and everything. As soon as you left, I was like, oh, I need to ask him if he wants to be on the podcast because we love talking about design and specifically designing running clothes, hats, cycling clothes. And we rarely get to talk with anyone who also is into design.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the direction, how we wanted to start it today. But I know you had your
one
own
thing
question.
I just realized is you don't have your opening that we normally have for the Culture Edit. Welcome to the Culture Edit.
But I haven't done that in a while.
Okay, you haven't done that? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Because it makes people...
Do we want to rip it for old time's sake?
Every time I say welcome to the Culture Edit...
Since this might be the last Culture Edit podcast?
No, it won't, no.
Yeah, well, technically...
No. The last Culture Edit podcast has happened.
Yeah.
People don't know that yet, though.
Yeah.
Now they do.
Yeah.
But even going forward with SpeedStudio, I still don't, because we'll be having a normal conversation and then I'll say, okay, I need to do the intro. Yeah. And I'll say, welcome to the SpeedStudio podcast. And immediately people just shut down.
Oh, really?
And they're like, and I'm like, just say thanks. It's the weirdest.
Yeah.
It's what do I do with my hands type situation. So we don't.
And they don't because they don't realize we're always recording. So
yeah. Well, we did record a podcast with someone, and he 30 minutes in, he goes, "So are we going to start recording or not?" And I was
like,
like, "Oh, we've been recording.
We're done with the podcast.
Exactly,
Actually,
exactly.
we're finished.
I'm like, "Hope you got everything you want to say."
So
That's actually the best, in my opinion.
really
I
is.
think so.
Literally just recording conversations.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
They
100%.
don't want to hear pre-recorded questions and answers.
Yeah.
A week ago, Thursday, so exactly today, a week ago, you did Run Easy.
Yes,
with
for the
your
first
with
time.
your boys, and y'all were walking back on the belt line, like 5 wide walking.
Yeah.
And I was riding with a guy, and I came up behind y'all, and I yelled,
We were those
Look
people."
at these walkers! I thought you guys run." And you
heard
didn't know
that.
you didn't know who I was, and y'all were like.
And then we saw you and
I
we're
felt
like,
like
"Oh,
y'all
what's
were.
up?"
I thought y'all were ready to throw down. Y'all were like, what?
Immediately,
You were like, what?
Immediately, everybody's face was like, "Who the fuck?" And then we saw, we're like, "It's fine, we get it." You know? Yeah. Anybody else though?
Another asshole
Catching
cyclist.
hands, man.
He loves
I've been
to
that
mess
guy
with
on the
people.
belt line on a bike before, though.
Yeah.
Shaking my head after every group of 3 people wide. I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't understand the rules of the road. And then here I am, the guy walking 5 wide. You just don't think about it.
It happens that early in the morning. It's
Yeah.
not-
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
honestly, because whenever I run with like our Wednesday Muchacho group, well, it's the same thing. Like we know we're like, okay, we're kind of taking over the belt line. But at that time, there's only a few cyclists. And usually it's like for us, if we're riding on the belt line, it's just to get to Piedmont Park to
Yeah.
go up to Buckhead.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you're a cyclist and you're riding back and forth on the belt line, that's an issue in itself. So
You're Fred.
yeah.
Do
Do you know what a Fred is?
I don't.
Okay. A Fred, and this is be good for you for the runner crew too. A Fred is a guy.
You want me to infiltrate everybody and keep everybody in pairs of 2s is what's happening. That's the whole reason I'm on the podcast.
Like line up.
Hey, can you dissipate the belt line for me, please?
A Fred is a guy that rides bikes that wants you, the non-bike rider, to think that he's a professional,
Okay.
but he's not. He's nowhere near it, and he.
But he's got all the gear.
Got all the gear. He's well, maybe he's got some of the gear, but to a non-cyclist, it looks like he's got all the gear, and he's just going to go up and down the belt line, like that's it, because it's for the show.
Which is crazy
so-
work because the belt line's not even that enjoyable to ride on.
No.
It's great if nobody's
terrifying.
on there.
Yeah.
Or if you're feeling spicy and you want to like zoom around some people. But
Yeah.
besides that, it's not that fun to ride on.
No.
Dangerous.
And it's
I
not
hate
even an
riding.
enjoyable ride,
Because
honestly.
you're like dodging kids
yeah,
and dogs.
you're dodging
and,
kids. And
yeah.
You're going what? The 2-mile loops? Cool.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
terrible.
Go ride a real street.
But
So now you can yell Fred at the guy that does that.
If you yell at me next time while we're 5 wide, I'm going to say, "Get out of here, Fred."
There you go. Perfect.
and we've talked about this before. I don't know that there's a running equivalent to a Fred, like because a Fred's just a pretender. But I don't think there's a running equivalent to that.
There's got to be.
But what would like define a running Fred? Because I guess maybe someone who has like the super shoes, but
There you go.
Somebody who walks
in
the
super
carbon-plated shoes. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
There was
Who doesn't understand what carbon-plated shoes are actually for.
exactly, and they
right.
thought they were just expensive because they're like,
And they're like, "Oh, these
looking-
look really cool. I need to show off my $300 shoes." They're like, that's not the point.
Well, it was funny because there was some posts like before we all went to Chicago, and it was someone taking pictures of all these people in super shoes that just you could tell like
They're
they
running 12-minute miles.
yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
no, they just weren't. They
even
weren't
running.
runners.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I'm like, that is they have no idea that they're buying a super shoe for running, and then they're just standing in them.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think
Yeah.
that's probably a Fred.
That's definitely an equivalent of a
Yeah.
Fred, for sure. We should come up with a term for them
I know.
live.
You can just
on the
adopt
air right
Fred.
now.
Yeah.
Just call them a douchebag also. That works too.
It's better if
They
they
also
don't know.
any better though.
Yeah,
you
like-
know, they're like, and
Exactly.
I'm always pro like, I love to shit on people and I love to talk trash.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you see a Fred, but also like good for them that they're getting out. And at
Doing
one point in time, I was probably a bit of a Fred. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But like I started cycling on a single speed state bicycle.
Yeah.
And then I like put road bike handlebars on it, and then I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
I got like a real bike, and then. I got
that's
all
not-
the gear, and I had to get into it somehow.
Yeah,
I didn't know better. I
exactly,
didn't have anybody
exactly.
else to teach me.
Yeah.
I'm sure people looked at me and like, what the fuck is this guy doing? You know?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
glad-
that's not Fred behavior though. That's a natural progression.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just
All right.
learning.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not a Fred.
Let's call the
For the record, I'm not a Fred.
we'll call the Walker Fred Sam's.
Sam's poor Sam.
We'll call them Sam Niebels,
I just-
actually.
I just always see him walking. I don't know what shoes he's got on.
He
but
does.
He's
walk
always
a lot.
walking,
Yeah.
man.
He's a big walker.
He's probably walked in carbon plated shoes before.
Probably.
We'll find out.
We need to like phone a friend at some point with Sam.
We're gonna find out if he listens to the podcast on this episode.
That's true.
The answer's probably no. I don't think he can
not.
pay attention to anything for longer than 10 minutes at a time.
My theory is that when he's walking and talking on the phone, he's always talking to his mom.
Yeah.
Like that's my theory.
Definitely not.
No,
Probably
okay.
FaceTiming one of 6 of the boys in the group chat.
Okay.
He's always on the phone walking.
He is always on the phone.
I like to think that it's his mom,
Yeah.
but it's probably not.
Yeah. I don't know his parents. So, but let's talk about like the run club culture of Atlanta first, because I feel like, you know, I started doing Atlanta Run Club, I guess 3 years ago. And I haven't been to Run Easy. I don't really even do the big ARC runs anymore, but I feel like watching Jacob and you all have really created this unique community, especially, and I don't want to just say like, especially for guys, but I do feel like there's a lot of community for girls when it comes to working out. And I've enjoyed watching all of the like positivity around like younger men with Run Easy and with some of these, like you did a Friday night run instead of going out. Like how is that shaping kind of like the evolution of run clubs, maybe just in Atlanta or everywhere?
I don't know how it's shaping the evolution of run clubs. So full transparency, like I never really did run clubs. Like I had my group of guys that I would run with, right? And it was a way for me to connect with my people. Running became a very easy thing to like build community with. Like when I first met my group of friends out here, I was like, hey, let's go on a run. Let's go to Piedmont Park or whatever. And it's an easy thing to kind of break the ice. It's weird for guys to meet each other. You're not going to be like, hey, you want to go on a date? You know?
Hang out.
You want to go get lunch? Like I've done that a couple times, but it's weird. It's a lot easier if it's like, hey, are you athletic? Yeah. Let's go on a run. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just moved over off Glen Iris and North. So for those who have no clue where this is at, it's right by Pont City Market, which is like one of the biggest tourist attractions in the city of Atlanta. Phenomenal place to live. And just by being on the Beltline, like I started meeting these people. Like I met Michael Smoke, Higher Up Wellness, and then he introduced me to Jacob. And then Jacob was like, hey, I'm doing this run club. And Jacob is just so tapped into run club culture. He just knows anything and everything. It's like, there's a run this day, this day, this day. So I started getting involved in it. And like, I was talking to somebody the other day and like, I didn't realize, I always thought run clubs were kind of this douchey thing, right? And then I saw all the people who go to these run clubs and I saw the fun that you guys are having. And I think that's what's interesting around creating content around it too, right? Because I didn't really think about it this way until I had this conversation, but it's like, yeah, there's all these cool people and like the amount of networking I've been able to do just even in the last week, the amount of people that I've met from doing 3 or 4 different running events. It's like you're out there, you're exercising, you're getting to meet a bunch of cool people who are like-minded, a lot of business owners, a lot of people who are doing cool local stuff in the city of Atlanta. And it's just a fun time to go out and like, I would way rather do that than go to 30 or to go to Himitsu or go out to a bar. Like
I don't even know what those places are.
What is 30? Is that a club?
That shows you how little I go out.
Nobody wants to know what 30 is. It's a destitute place. Okay. I'm just kidding. Shout out 30 Bar. Great time, great place.
Where is it?
It's in Buckhead.
Okay.
Right across from, right next to Buckhead Saloon.
Okay.
Okay, it was probably something
It's a different
else when
planet for us.
Probably something different, yeah. But it's a cool spot. But my point being, like, most people want to go out and go to the bars or whatever. Like, I would much rather go and do something like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm physically getting fit, I'm taking care of my body, and I get to interact with and hang out with a bunch of people. And, I'm relatively new to it. It's been a few weeks, but I very much enjoy it. And there's a lot of really cool people involved. And then, like, we went to the Bedell House event on Sunday, and they like threw a 2-mile run in there. I showed up in my recovery shoes and my and my watch, and I was not ready, but I was like, okay, I guess we're running. And like, just a good time and an easy way to meet people and interact and just like take the pressure off, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Did you live in Buckhead before here?
Technically, like the most south tip of Buckhead. I lived off 26 and Peachtree. Okay. Like 26th, it says the sign like you are now entering Buckhead.
Yeah.
So I
like
guess I could tell people I live. I know people are a little territorial about if you say you live in Buckhead. Like I wasn't in Buckhead.
You better be in the shops of Buckhead.
You know what I mean? But if you don't live in Buckhead Villages, you're not in Buckhead.
Yeah.
It's Brookwood.
Yeah, Brookwood.
Brookwood is where I lived. Yeah.
And that's not really a kind of walking, running kind of.
It's not at all.
So I could see it's a big difference for you.
When I first moved to Atlanta in August of 2020, I I lived off Monroe and Greenwood. So I was right by the Beltline.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a group of friends. And then a year and a half into living there, I moved over to 26 in Peachtree.
Okay.
And I loved living in Brookwood. It was quiet. Nobody really knew it existed. I was able to walk Bobby Jones, go run Bobby Jones, but like I wasn't in the mix of things. And I wish I had lived where I live now the entire time, because it's just such a different community. Like I moved there August 28th. September, Sam was like, hey, let's do a September Steps challenge. And I was like, bet. I was spending 3 hours a day on the Beltline. I walked something like 350 miles.
So did you meet Sam on the Beltline?
No, I met Sam, one of my best friends, Kayvon. We were on his boat. And he was trying to get Sam's business for Good Wipes because Kayvon owns a 3PL facility specifically for Amazon companies. And came out on the boat with us on Labor Day weekend like 3 years ago. And then Sam and us just all became quick buddies. And it was like, oh, Sam fits into this crew. Yeah. And then we've just been like best friends ever since.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, what you're describing, you know, I think run clubs, and I guess they have been happening, but not at the extent they've been happening in the last 5 years.
Like when I moved to Atlanta, I don't feel like there was run clubs like this.
But it reminds me, so Atlanta has a huge cycling culture, and it's a group ride city. Like every single night you can do, you can do a group ride in the morning, you can do one at night.
That's awesome.
And when I moved here in 2000, wow. It was the same thing with bikes. Like you could go to these group rides, and I met guys that I'm still talk to every single day 25 years later.
That's awesome.
It's the exact same kind of thing. And it's that doing it together, guys, you know, and you're suffering and you're working out, and like it builds a camaraderie that.
Yeah, and you're all trying to like outpace each other, and you're trying to see who could get better.
And you can't do that meeting a dude at 30.
You can't.
Right? Like
you know
that's not going to happen. You're like, who's this guy? Get out of here.
And you meet somebody at like a cycling club, you automatically know that they're probably taking care of their life in a very specific type of way.
Yep.
You meet somebody at a run club, you're not going to run with the people who are there casually and who run once a month.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be there and you're going to be pacing with the guys who are like, hey, I'm training for this, or I'm doing a high rocks, or whatever it is, right? You're naturally going to fall into that group of people. And it's I love the fact that Atlanta is such an active city.
Yeah.
And there's so many people you can fall into who share like a similar mindset.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like the one thing that I feel like when we talk about, oh, would we ever move out of Atlanta? I feel like the run culture becoming this like big, because when I first moved here in 2011, at the end of 2011, like I did a half marathon pretty much right when I moved here, but there was no like run clubs other than Atlanta Track Club.
Right.
And I saw that as like kind of older crew.
What was Atlanta Track Club?
They still exist.
It's the largest
they put on like the
America.
Peachtree Road Race. They put on, so they're like a giant, they're an organization.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the only like run club that existed. And so our only outlet was like, I worked at the Braves at the time. It was just go out with all the people who worked at the Braves.
Yeah.
And I wish that I would have had that. But I think it's also it would make it really hard to leave Atlanta, like living on the Beltline, being able to just meet up with your friends constantly to do something healthy and not feel this pressure to go out and like drink constantly.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
I, since moving to prior to moving to the Beltline, I had this itch. I'm like, maybe I'll go get a sublease in New York for 3 months out of the year.
I get that like every couple
months.
months.
Or maybe I'll put all my stuff in storage and go live nomadically. And then I moved to the Beltline and it scratched that itch for me. I'm like, I can kind of feel like I'm in New York a little bit. Obviously, it's not the same. You're walking the same thing up and down every day. But you can get away and just be like calm and at peace. I feel like if I moved to New York, you know what I mean? It'd be way too much stimulus for me.
What brought you to Atlanta in 2020?
Kind of an ex-girlfriend, also COVID. I'd come out here and visited a few times prior to moving out here. My ex had moved out here with our dog. It was one of those like, I kind of want to make it work things. And she was like, we're not going to make it work, but like we could stay friends.
You could still move here.
It was a very weird, very odd situation.
Did you get the dog?
We actually still split the dog.
Oh, wow.
And I know a lot of ladies are not going to be excited about hearing about this. It's a weird conversation I got to have when I'm dating somebody. They're like,
you tried that not with me, obviously, but like for a long time with your ex, you guys tried to share custody of the dog.
No.
It didn't work.
We shared custody of a house, not a dog. I got the dog.
Very
like
different situation.
Rights. I don't know. That would be really hard, though.
It's actually very easy. I'm very grateful that it's so easy and simple.
Good.
Like we realized, hey, we should have never been together.
Yeah.
Like we're great friends, but like romantically, we just do not work whatsoever.
Yeah.
She's since been married and divorced, and I've had multiple relationships since then.
Yeah.
Like, there's
so it was her fault.
Oh, it always is. Duh.
She's not in the room.
It's always the girl's fault, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding. Kind of.
So I just realized you're single. That's also a good reason to go to run clubs.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a huge part
I
of
have
it.
been completely uninterested in going to run clubs to meet girls. That has not even been a topic of conversation for me. It's like just my boys are going. I'm like, cool, let's rip it. You know, it's a great time. Yeah. I think I talked to Michael about coming to do Run Easy.
I think he's going to start doing it now
He
that
should.
it's the off season.
And if it's not Run Easy, then there's Atlanta Run Club.
Yeah.
It's not, there's, you know, just meet up with the boys and go run track at Piedmont Park, like whatever it is.
Tons of options.
I keep trying to get him to come to our Wednesday. Jacob used to come to the Wednesday.
What's the Wednesday one?
So Jacob used to come to it. I don't know why he stopped. I think we dropped him too many times.
I think you're too fast.
It's honestly, it's chill. There was a point actually when he was doing it where we were running pretty or decently fast, but we like chilled out a little bit. It starts at Muchacho on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. And then we run from Muchacho down to the park and then back. So it's 6 miles if you start at Muchacho.
That's solid.
It's usually like it hovers between like a 7:45 and an 8:30 pace. Like that's pretty
Zone 2-ish.
Yeah, it's a good run. But sometimes we go slower.
See, that run club sounds like it sucks because you get all the fun stuff out of the way at first, and then you're uphill the whole way back.
Well,
whereas with Run Easy, you gotta run hard stuff out of the way first, and then you're downhill going fast on the way back.
Well, and it's funny because like I always feel like the guys just like turn it up a notch because there's not that many girls that do it, and so the guys on the way back will like kick it a little bit, and then we'll get to that hill going up towards Breaker. And then they like really kick it, and I'm like, I am not getting dropped.
I don't know what it is about guys trying to turn the jets on when they're going uphill.
I know.
I don't understand it.
We call it surging.
It's such a weird thing. I slow down when I'm going uphill. I'm like, I need to conserve my energy here. Not every, but a lot of friends that I run with, they like turn it on going uphill. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It happens in cycling too. We call it surge and splurge.
Surging.
Yeah, surge and splurge. Yeah, spray and pray.
Well, we joke surge and splurge because it's always like the really rich guys that do it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why.
It's the guys with the biggest egos. That's
exactly.
what it is, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm going to drop everybody.
I'll show you how strong I am.
Exactly. Switching gears just a little bit, I want to talk about kind of like what you're seeing, because you're obviously into fashion, you're into design.
What gave it away?
I'm assuming you keep a pretty, like us, I'm obsessed with fashion, specifically women's fashion, but also fashion and running, fashion and cycling, which is a little bit, that's parts different. What do you see like going to these run clubs? When you go to New York, it's kind of a certain aesthetic. When you go to LA, kind of same thing. Miami, definitely. I actually feel like there's not a lot of style in Miami other than just like wearing your sports bra.
Yeah.
Just wearing as
hot and sticky
little clothes as possible.
As little clothes as possible and as much fake boobs as possible.
Shout out to
as much makeup as
shout
possible.
out to the
all of our
plastic surgeons.
all of our listeners
doing
in
their
Miami.
good work in Miami. But how do you see the trends like going to some of these group runs or just like running with your boys? Where are the trends for men in design going right now?
Ooh, it's a big question.
I know it's a big question.
It's really hard to pinpoint it in the city of Atlanta specifically because I feel like in the city of Atlanta, that is one thing that I kind of miss about being in, Orange County or close to Los Angeles is there's very much like a design language there. In Atlanta, the design language is like, how expensive is your polo and your pair of khakis and your fucking Sperry Docksiders, Very boring aesthetic to me. No offense. Like I've latched onto that in a way, and that has kind of spoken to my design language a little bit more muted, old money aesthetic, I guess. But I just feel like it doesn't exist here. But what I see when it comes to the world of running, the people who are top of mind for me are Represent, their 24/7 line. I think they do a phenomenal job of their branding. I think their stuff is fantastic. UVU or UVU, I don't know how the fuck you say it. Addy Gillespie, I think is his name, the guy who created it. I love their design aesthetic. I think, the really thin, breathable singlets, half tights, black with like minimal branding. It kind of speaks to like Off-White circa 2016. I feel like they're bringing that into sort of the running athletic wear world, which I love. I think the way that they shoot all their stuff and the way that they design everything is very just minimal and clean. There's these other two brands. Well, obviously Satisfy Running, which just has annihilated it. Like bringing vintage aesthetic into the running world, I think is one of the coolest things in the world.
Stuff,
I love it when people bring two opposites or two things that don't necessarily exist together into the same world, and then bringing the burnt out vintage t-shirts as like a running shirt and calling it Moth Tech.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best fucking marketing tactics I've ever seen.
100%.
Because it's literally just an old vintage t-shirt and they put this removable tag on it and they're like, we're going to sell this for $160. I'm like,
brilliant.
Do you?
Yeah.
But I think there's these two other brands called System, which I think the way they shoot everything is really cool. And this other brand called Currently Running. They do really cool shit. But I just see like very minimal kind of like streetwear vibes going into the world of running. And that is what I see dominating it for the foreseeable future, until somebody comes around with like a much more interesting idea and merges probably something that you wouldn't think of with the world of running, and people are gonna be like, oh my God, that's genius. I hope I come up with it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I don't know. But
and that's what I'm always curious, and I really am curious about, like, again, your experience, because I have it, like, in our lives, you have a lot of friends that obviously I'm exposed to, but it's guys who are older, and then Michael and all of his friends are very young, and I'm like, I really don't have a lot of guys in my life that are like my own age to like understand like what are the trends.
She's talking to 50-year-olds or
24-year-olds, and there's like this giant gap.
It's kind of all you need though. The 24-year-olds are who's driving culture forward.
I know.
The 35-year-olds learn from the 24-year-olds.
Exactly,
So
I know.
you know, you're getting the best of both worlds.
But it's just funny because even when we're designing kits and everything, I'm like, I wonder what like people my own age are wearing. You know, I wonder specifically I know what girls my own age are wearing, but I always wonder like what's driving the fashion for men in their, let's say, 25 to 35, because that's when you really start having like buyer power. Because
athletic gear is expensive.
It's expensive.
You talk about kits for cycling. My God. You're spending out the ass for a single set. Like you're
$700 for
crazy.
jersey and
It's
bibs.
crazy. You want to get a Rafa or Map anything?
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you, and the custom, in our world, everything's custom. So it's like even more expensive because you're getting really nice kits, and then you're doing this whole line of custom jerseys and bibs and team stuff and everything.
And I'm just curious where, like how, and I think maybe that's what you were going with, is like, how are the guys in that space? How are they learning and getting influence? I guess it's just Instagram. Is that?
I think Instagram, and I think really what it comes down to, I have this interesting. Have you ever thought about the concept of like there used to be happenstance in the world where like you'll think about something and you're like, oh my goodness, I just randomly came across this ad on television, or this person started saying this thing. Now I think a lot of people think that God is actually the Instagram algorithm. Because you're like, oh, what a coincidence. I was just thinking about getting new running gear and Represent. I now have 20 ads on my feed from them. Like it's not really happenstance anymore. It's just the algorithm has gotten so good. But I think what it comes down to, the people with the most influence, if you have taste, if you have design taste, if you have like an aesthetic that you're driven by, and you spend the most amount of money on meta, that is what is going to drive culture currently, in my opinion. That is why Represent, I think, is currently driving running culture. Because they probably spend, if I had to guess, 7 figures a month on advertising, at least.
Crazy.
They're doing, $200 million a year? So like for them to spend $12 million a year on meta, it's probably low. They're probably spending $5 million a month on meta, realistically. And then, UVU, their organic content is just so good that they've sort of capitalized on being on everybody's Instagram feed, and that is what is going to continue to drive sort of running culture, at least aesthetically.
And I'm curious though, like, because you see those brands online, but you don't see them at the big races. Like you don't. You see Bandit. I would say Bandit is the most
has gotten
niche,
actually really good.
It's like the most niche brand that
Bandit
is at the big. Bandit and Tracksmith.
I'm not super familiar with Tracksmith.
So it's an older company. It was founded in Boston, so it's very New England. That's the whole aesthetic.
It's very
is like
preppy.
Okay.
It's like, it's performance.
Performance preppy.
Preppy. And
I'm surprised it's not bigger in Atlanta. And maybe it is, and I just don't know it.
I would
see it a
say
little bit.
more of like the older guys wear it. Like the older serious runners will wear it. I wear it a little bit, but in the summer I think their winter stuff is honestly better than their summer stuff. But outside of those two kind of smaller brands, you don't see you see Satisfy doing, we watched that documentary that they just did, but digital stuff, you just don't see them in like real life. And I'm wondering how much is that going to affect their overall growth.
I watched the entire Chicago Marathon from the sidelines.
Really?
And it was just your
Nike.
Classic Nike, Adidas. But it's like, the wholesale kind of like
Yeah.
it's not like the cutting
Nike
edge
outlet.
stuff. It's the
Yeah.
Nike outlet stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that's still what dominates.
I mean,
that's
if
still,
you think about it, that's what dominates. You think about that vast of a group of individuals in one place, you're getting such an interesting sort of cutout of the world. And most people don't like to go into these sort of niche worlds and spend that much money. They want to spend $30 on a top, $40 on a bottom, and $120 on a pair of shoes.
just doesn't matter to them.
You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter as long as it's like good enough.
Right.
People aren't going to care. And you would think that on Instagram, like, oh my goodness, everybody's going to be wearing UVU and Represent and Bandit. And like, not really.
Yeah.
The hardcore people will for sure. But also that shit's expensive, you know?
Yeah.
It really is.
I think if you could, if you could like really nail that aesthetic and put it at a reasonable price point, there's such a big world to be tapped into there. But also, most people don't really care about design either. Most people just want a black, gray, blue shirt, sometimes orange, black, gray, blue shorts, and like a pair of blue running shoes for some fucking reason.
And it's like the behaviors now are people just want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
You know, like people don't have the capacity for design because they don't. It's complete. I think it's a little bit of complacency in the world of it's become so easy to just open your phone and be like, okay, what's cool? What should I get? What should I be influenced? And you don't even have control.
In theory, but it's also hard because there's so many options out there. And I've thought about this too, right? In my mind, like when I try to look at the world of fashion as a consumer, I've been trying to find a good pair of denim forever. I have thick, muscular legs, and I need a straight cut denim. Most straight cut denims, for some reason, do not fit me. I just bought these at J. Crew this morning, and I'm like,
tight.
They're too tight on the thighs, and then they go in at the knee, and they're just. And I would think to myself, I'm just gonna go on Google and go straight cut denim for athletic legs, and most of the shit is trash out there.
Yeah.
And you would think that it would be a lot easier to find garments that would fit you properly with the amount of options that there are, but it's also like. Still very hard to find those things. It's not as easy as you would assume it to be.
Yeah.
It's easy to sit and think, there's so many options, but it's really not that easy, right?
You have to get, I mean, I have a lot of denim.
She knows the denim. And I hate to
Japanese denim. Look for
are you a big Japanese denim girl?
I think
selvage.
I think it like hits nice. Like it flows nice. It just has to be, I don't know. There's like.
Are you raw denim?
It doesn't have to be raw denim, but if it's nice enough Japanese cotton, it doesn't feel like that. When you think of like a raw, stiff denim, it doesn't feel that way. And so it's like the way it's woven together. Essentially, there's so many different ways. But I do think that there's some nice draping denim that it would probably like what you're saying, but it's very expensive. It's like $800 jeans, you know?
Exactly.
And that's insane.
And then you got to travel to Shinjuku to go buy them. Let me go to freaking Target or something. I just want to get some pants right now.
I hate to turn you on to this because you may not come back, but just do custom.
Yeah.
Just do
that's
custom.
what he always
I've thought about it.
Like it's all custom.
I thought about it. I went to Buck Mason recently and got a pair of their new front something denim. And they like had a tailor. They didn't have a tailor. They took my measurements, sent them off. I got them back, and they're one of my favorite pairs of denim.
I didn't even know they did that there.
Buck Mason stuff is actually fantastic.
I have a lot of their stuff. Yeah. I don't have a pair of jeans. I don't like the way their jeans fit as much.
I didn't either until I found that one pair.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I was very surprised.
Where do you? What's the custom place that you go?
It requires a lot of work. Proper cloth.
I've heard of them, yeah.
So they do denim? I thought you just got your shirts and suits there.
No, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so are all your denim custom?
Not all of it, but
most.
if like I'm like you, shaped much different though.
Yeah.
A skinny guy my whole life. And so I've just got to the point where it's like really hard to buy clothes. And I just started to find custom options. And they'll do denim. Like I have several denim jeans from them and they're my favorite.
I feel like you could pull off. I wish I was like a very skinny guy.
Yeah.
Because I would just wear Hedi Slimane Saint Laurent for the rest of my life. That is all I would need in my closet. Very expensive, but my Lord, it would last a lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is hard for men to find. Women now it's easy because everything's baggy. So you're like, just give me a baggy pair of pants.
It's easy.
I mean,
I have an idea for a. I don't know if I should put this out. I'm going to save it, actually. I'll tell you guys off air.
You can
it's a
say
golf
you
brand.
can say it, and then if you don't want us to keep it in, tell us.
I already know that I don't want you to keep it in because
Okay,
smart people listen to this podcast and they'd be like, I'm fucking stealing that. It's in due time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Tell us.
Sorry, guys. I'm gatekeeping.
I'm curious your thoughts because you brought up how expensive, especially the niche up and coming brands are, and it goes right along with kind of what you're saying, why they're so expensive. It's because it's not the manufacturing necessarily. It's because they're having to spend so much money advertising in order to compete.
Yeah.
How do you look at that as you're growing your brand and like thinking about your price point? Like, are you kind of having to think about my advertising strategy and how that impacts the price of my apparel that I'm making? Does that come up at the beginning?
I mean, I want to spend the most amount of money I could possibly spend on Meta every year.
Yeah.
You know, we're coming up on 7 figures spent this year. And, you know, we do a lot of testing in terms of price points. Like we just did a price test at $5 higher, did a price test at $5 lower. I don't want to go any lower than that. And it's all just data, you know, and it's expensive to test stuff. Like the app that we use is like $500 a month just to be able to run tests. I have developers that I'm paying, you know, a lot of money a month to be able to run these tests, to be able to gather data. And it all affects everything. But like when I started the company initially, we were embroidering on blank auto hats just to like test the market and see what happened. And I had them priced at $65 because being in the fashion space for 10, 12 years, I know you can always go lower, but you can't go higher.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to price my hats at $80 because I knew I wasn't releasing like a true like luxury house product, right? I knew my branding wasn't going to be on par with Rude and Louis Vuitton and et cetera, et cetera. So I wasn't going to price them at 80 to $120. I also knew I wanted to do some semblance of volume. So I call this just like my taste, I guess, led me to the $65 price point. I saw how that was doing and I was like, I know this is too expensive. We got to drop it down a little bit. We landed at $54.95 and now the amount of hat companies that are selling hats for $54.95.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of us or it's just, you know, collective ideas that are out in the world. People are starting to catch on the same things I caught on to. I don't know, but like $54.95 has sort of seemed to be the perfect price point. And I think our hats are of higher quality than $54.95. But, you know, advertising cost definitely plays a part in it. But running ads on Meta nowadays is just such a different world than it used to be from what I understand, because I never ran ads on Meta prior to this. Like when I started my company, I took courses and figured it out on my own and spent probably $30,000 of my own money trying to figure it out. And I lost a lot of fucking money doing it until I was able to hire people on who are professionals at it and who could do it at a, you know, competitive price point. But from what I understand, previously when we were running ads on Meta, like it was a lot easier to acquire a customer. It was like a, you know, $5, $10, $15 customer acquisition cost, which that is just not what it is anymore. And it is a lot harder to run a company just on Meta advertising. So now you got to go the UGC route, TikTok Shop affiliate route, which is something we're trying to figure out. So
what's UGC?
User generated content.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So just customers of yours that like, hey guys, I love this hat. And then you run that as an ad or whatever, because now people are getting fed ads from every single corner. Now they want real people to tell them, hey, I actually like this product, which doing UGC properly is a hard thing to do because now everybody's doing UGC and it looks like bullshit half the time.
People are like, oh, and here's a hat, and here's glasses, and here's this. And it's like, go to my like to know it link or whatever.
And when you're on TikTok, every third video is a TikTok shop video. And like the things that really come across are people who genuinely enjoy your product and people can sense that in their gut. So acquiring a consumer has become a much different, again, this is all I know because I never did direct to consumer. I was in fashion wholesale and I was dealing with people one-to-one. Very different world. But from what I understand, acquiring a customer is just a much different world than it used to be.
I'm curious about TikTok Shop because I obviously like see ads on TikTok, but I've never actually like girls that are like, oh, it's usually like skincare. It's like, oh, this Japanese or Korean skincare, whatever, like buy it on TikTok Shop. And I always think it's a scam. I'm always like, I'm going to get some sort of like weird, like poison skincare that's going to break my skin out. And they're going to be like, well, it's because it came from wherever.
Which is reasonable to consider.
But like, so what is the strategy? Like, because you don't want to devalue. Like I view something that I see on TikTok Shop as devalued immediately. How do you, and maybe with hats, maybe that's like the person who's buying your hat doesn't have that same view at it. Maybe it's just an actual easy way to purchase something for them.
I'd say even back up, explain TikTok Shop. I don't even understand.
So you don't get ads? Like you don't get people saying like,
are you on
this?
TikTok at all?
Yeah, but not that often. And not that long. So I don't, I guess I don't know.
I'm on it more than Instagram, I would say.
I used to be on it more than Instagram. Now I think Instagram has really reeled in their algorithm and I just find myself Instagram has just sucked me in again.
Yeah.
But so TikTok Shop is very much like the Wild West right now. It was TikTok's answer to figure out how they can monetize their app instead of charging people.
Yep.
And TikTok Shop has absolutely blown up. I think a lot of the way people look at TikTok Shop now is how people used to look at Amazon. When Amazon first started, I don't think people really believed in the concept of being able to like buy something online in that way. And they're like, what am I buying? How do I know it's going to be legit?
Yeah.
Same concept with TikTok Shop. And there's,
I lived through that, by the way.
Yeah. I kind of did too. I was a little younger, but like I kind of did too, you know? And I think that we have much more educated consumers nowadays because they are used to purchasing things online. That is just the standard nowadays. Like going into a brick and mortar spot is just less common when you could buy anything you want on Amazon and get it delivered in 2 days. But TikTok Shop is a little bit of the Wild West, and they don't really have the infrastructure available to be able to properly moderate things. Like our hats are on TikTok Shop. We have our affiliate program that's currently running, and this guy posted a video and it started getting a lot of views, and he tagged the wrong company. And it was a company who literally just took our images, put it up, and was selling the hat for $25. And I'm like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he didn't even realize it. Like TikTok doesn't have the infrastructure to be able to properly moderate that. So it is possible that you buy something, and if you don't do your due diligence as a consumer, you might get something fake, right? I'm sure there's plenty of people who bought hats thinking they were mine, and they're going to come and it's going to be shit quality, and they're going to be like, yo, Aug11 sucks. And it's like, well, that wasn't us, right?
Yeah.
But the beauty of TikTok Shop is because it is the Wild West, you have the ability to really like kind of be like a first mover, I guess. I wouldn't say that we're a first mover, but there's only like 5 hat brands on there that I would consider to be our competitors. And the most hats sold by any one company on TikTok Shop is like 200,000 over the course of however long TikTok Shop's been around. That's not that crazy to consider breaking that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not,
Whereas getting on Amazon right now, and the top hat sellers probably sold 10 million plus hats, you know? So it's an entirely different world.
Yeah.
And you can utilize UGC, and they have a platform where it's called TikTok Shop Affiliate. You sign people up to your affiliate program, you send them samples, they post about it. They tag it directly within the app on their video. It looks just like a regular video, except there's a little orange shopping cart button, really tiny on the bottom left of the screen. And then I can track all the analytics within the TikTok backend on my desktop. And it automatically pays them out. It goes directly into your Shopify. You ship directly from there. Like it's the most easy integrated way to do something. Whereas
So someone taps that orange
yes.
shopping cart, and then it takes them to the screen to purchase.
Yeah, but you're purchasing it within the TikTok app. It doesn't you can advertise on TikTok, and then it'll take you out to your website, obviously.
Yeah.
I have found very little success in that, and I don't know a lot of people who have found very good success in that. I think where a lot of the success on TikTok Shop is happening is through their affiliate program.
Okay.
And then people are incentivized to post about it because you know, when somebody sells one of our hats, they can earn $7 each.
Yeah.
And they sell 100 hats a month. That's an extra $700 in their pocket. Or if they sell 1,000 of them, that's $7,000. I know this brand, Squid Hoss, this guy, Lucas Pachter, who lives in Austin, Texas. There's affiliates that are making like $100,000 a month.
Yeah, I believe
just
it.
from selling their product.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to be able to have the inventory to be able to support that.
Yeah.
But like you could grow your brand. When we get our TikTok Shop to where I want it to be, I believe it will be a 2 to 3x of our monthly revenue easily.
Wow.
But it's just a matter of like really figuring out that system because it is like the Wild West. You don't get a lot of, back end support from TikTok itself.
Yeah.
Because who knows where the fuck they're based,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Like
Who knows who's running it?
I had an issue with like orders coming in that weren't being marked as shipped, but they'd already been shipped, and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
But that's one of the things you have to deal with when
Yeah.
there's so much opportunity available to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's an
I've-
interesting world.
I've
It
definitely
is.
bought stuff. Like, I guess I have bought things in the Instagram, like in Instagram when
Yeah.
you like,
I've seen that. Yeah.
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 And that gets me actually like,
Yeah.
I would say quicker. If a girl like basically tags like whatever she's wearing her product, I like it, I'll just like buy it.
You feel more comfortable buying something from Instagram.
Yeah.
Now. But think about that 5 years ago. I remember I bought my first item off an Instagram ad and I was like, I don't know if I got
wonder if I'll ever get it.
Yeah, you know, and now
so
it's so commonplace to just purchase something directly from an ad that you get on Instagram. That's where I purchase most of my things.
Yeah.
I feel like TikTok is going to be that way in like 5 years, but there's so much hubbub around like, oh, China owns it, or somebody in the US is going to buy it at the beginning of next year, and who knows what happens with it. Like, you still kind of don't know if you're getting scammed on TikTok, but I feel like consumers are coming around to the idea of it, and then in the next 2 to 3 years, you're not even going to think twice about it, because they're going to have the back end, they're going to have the systems in place to mitigate the scammers and, you know, stuff like that.
So what drives, like, because you're obviously very analytical, and everything that the next step that you're taking is driven by the previous step result, like the result you got.
Yeah.
What's driving the design? So is it whatever's selling the most, you're leaning into that design, and then you're just trying to recreate other designs that complement that or to that buyer?
It's very interesting. I think, so when I first released, when we started our company November 1st of 2023, I released 6 hats, and they were all tattoos that I had. Because I was like, I hired a designer to come up with these designs that said Aug11 on it. And I thought to myself, what is my business strategy going to be? And it was going to be advertising on Instagram. And I was like, I don't want to have to educate a consumer on what the fuck does Aug11 mean? Why would I purchase anything that says Aug11 on it, right? So I was like, okay, I need to rethink this. And then I went to a Live After 5 in Roswell, and I saw everybody wearing the hats that said Caviar Cowboy or Easy Does It, or just some stupid fucking saying on it. And I was like, this is my target audience. This is what I need to create.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not in this just because, you know, obviously I love design. I love apparel. I've been doing this for my whole life basically, but I wanted to create things that I knew I could make money off of, right? I wanted to be able to make a living off of this. So I needed to come up with designs. I was like, I already have them on my body. I had 6 tattoos that were non-trademarkable, and I was like, I'll just use these as designs. Then I figured out what worked from that, and the art hat became our #1 best-selling hat, hands down, of all time. We've sold over, I don't know, 12,000, probably 15,000 combined across all colorways in under 2 years of just that single design. So I've obviously iterated on that, done new colors of that, and then
Is that a tattoo?
It is a tattoo. It's on my left shoulder right here.
Oh,
actually.
okay, yeah.
And
for the listeners, it's art, but in a logo.
we don't say we don't say the M word here. I got a cease and desist.
Inspired.
I got a cease and desist for that probably 6 months in.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wow.
I hope one of their lawyers doesn't listen to this.
We'll bleep that out.
We sent them, we got a cease and desist from them, and we looked up their trademark and realized they don't have a trademark for apparel. But they're also like a $50 billion company.
Yeah,
so
they're just going to squash
they
it
could
with
just
lawyers.
be like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Luckily, we've kind of moved away from that. That is still one of our best-selling hats.
Yeah.
But when we released this hat, the Lord Forgive Me hat, on any time frame we've released it, it has outsold our #1 and our #2 bestseller plus 30% on any time frame.
Yeah.
Which is insane. So
are you worried about Ford coming after you?
Yeah, a little bit for sure. But it also doesn't say Ford, you know? So like, I don't know what kind of standing they have. It's possible. I have like 6,000 of these coming in the air right now. So if they came after me, that would suck. Ford, I hope none of your lawyers are listening to this either.
We'll bleep that out.
But getting back to the sort of my theory of design, again, I've worked in fashion for the last 12 years. I cut my teeth as a model. I interned as a graphic designer under, like, in my opinion, some of the best designers that I know. I worked in sales. I was director of international sales at one of the biggest streetwear agencies in the world. So, like, I learned how to do trend forecasting. I learned how to, like, read what the customers are liking, to go based off of data to see what's selling. So a lot of this stuff, when I go into designing something, I think to myself, like, one, would I want to wear this, right? And it's funny because before I made this hat, I wore this hat all the time. By the time it released, I was like, ugh, I'm kind of sick of it. You know, I've seen it all the time. I saw Tremaine Emery, the founder of Denim Tears, talking about how he never wears any of his clothing. He's like, because I've seen every stitch, every single detail of it. By the time it's been released, that's 6 months old to me. And like, I kind of feel the same way. So like, the only time I'll really wear our hats is when I have a really cool new sample and I'm really excited about it. By the time it comes out and everybody's excited about it, I'm like, I've moved on.
Yeah.
I like to wear other people's hats because when I first started the company, I wouldn't buy or wear anybody else's hats. It felt like blasphemy to me.
Yeah.
Now I purchase probably another hat a week, usually from Instagram ads, because I want to understand what other people are doing. I want to touch something, feel it. I want to wear something that I didn't design, that I haven't been a part of since the inception of it, right? And that kind of helps my brain think in different ways, especially talking to other business owners, other people who own apparel companies. I like to kind of look outside of my world, like see what J. Crew is doing, or see what people like Buck Mason are doing, or these little niche sub brands that nobody knows about. I like to see what they're doing, and that kind of informs my design aesthetic. One thing I have noticed heavily, our big thing has been, I'm not wearing a structured hat right now, but like our structured 5-panel hats, like similar to this. That is what kind of put us on the map. We have a deep fit. I don't really like that fit anymore because it just doesn't seem to go with my aesthetic. And I have naturally flown into more unstructured hats like this. And luckily, culture has also shifted that route. A lot of other people are doing unstructured hats. So one thing that I've learned since starting this company is my taste has very much influenced my design, and I tend to trust my gut when I come up with something. And if I feel really excited about something, usually other people feel similarly as I do, right? And I think that is very much because I am quote unquote tapped into culture to an extent. I'm very much just as much of a consumer as I am a creator. And I think that is very important. If I was in my own world and I had no clue what was going on in culture, I probably wouldn't be able to create shit that people like. So
is there a particular persona you're thinking of when you're designing?
Myself.
Just yourself?
Just myself.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up with like a very punk rock family.
Yeah.
My mom and dad both had a bunch of tattoos. Like my godfather's a lead guitarist of Social Distortion. Cool. I saw BB King on my 5th birthday, George Thorogood on my 6th birthday. Like I was very much in the world of music. So like I vacillate back and forth between like this adult professional version of myself and this punk rock, like I don't give a fuck kind of like dark, ironic vibes. And then I'm very much informed by streetwear culture like Supreme or all these companies that used to do logo flips of these very prominent brands that like existed out in the world, and kind of, you know, like I've been to a Ford logo. Like it's funny. I don't know. The art hat. It's like a funny, ironic kind of like romantic sort of like cigarettes and art. You know what I mean? It's just like a very...
I want you to tell this. I wish Michael was here listening, because when we designed the Crank It Up logo, which is like, you'll be fine, like suck it up, but we made it into like a heart because it was ironic. And that was the whole point, was it was an ironic logo, and he just didn't get it. And I'm like, it's ironic.
Irony does well. People love irony.
I love irony.
Yeah, and you can, you're communicating something. There's this one artist named Brian Espiritu. This is like the best version of, I don't even know if I would call it irony, but he puts across two messages into one thing. I have one of his pieces tattooed on my arm. It's an epitaph, and it says, "Bring me flowers," but the S and the F are on the outside of the epitaph. So when you cover it up, it says, "Bring me lower." And like, it's on an epitaph of a grave. And it's like, I fucking love that. I love that kind of design language where you're like saying one thing, but you mean another thing entirely, you know, like I think putting the art hat on like a J. Crew dad cap and doing a collaboration with like an old money brand would be so funny to me. You know, it'd be so amazing because it's bringing two worlds into one that like shouldn't belong together.
That's what, like I'm hoping, and I've really been on this kick this year, is I'm just like, I hear you on all the digital strategy. Like that has to be done to make money. Like it just does. Like I get that, but there's so strong in me where I'm like, I want to go back analog in a lot of things. And I want to have some brands send me the most badass like catalog with the coolest like clothes that are kind of like my aesthetic. I would say like I love the Row, but I also love Acne Studios. And if the Row and Acne Studios could have a baby, that would be like my perfect aesthetic. And I want that to be in like a magazine that I can literally sit there and just kind of admire the art. Like I want it to be very artful.
Buy into a world.
Buy into this world. And I don't want to be influenced by an influencer. I want to be influenced by an artist. And I've been waiting for a brand to and there are brands that, you know, obviously have digital catalogs, newspapers, all that kind of stuff. But I really want other brands to kind of test the waters on that and see how people react to it.
Who are some of the brands that you think are doing that the best, that are like sucking you into a world of theirs that is very curated and like aesthetic and feel like it speaks to your soul rather than just like, oh, that's cool?
I think for me, I love the Row, which now sounds kind of like basic because a lot of women love
That's Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, and I
was surprised when they came out and their aesthetic. I was like, wow, these guys nailed it.
And for the majority, so when I started following the brand, which was a really long time when they started it, and I didn't understand what it was. I somehow stumbled across their Instagram, and I was like, and it looks like an art. It's like sculptures and artwork and nothing at that time, nothing about clothes. And I was like, this is so interesting. And for a while, they never came out that they were actually the owners and founders of the brand.
Oh, interesting.
So no one knew. Everyone was like, and they didn't want.
It's like, what is this thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that pulled me into that world. Also, like an insane price. Like I can't buy like a whole wardrobe of the row. Yeah. It's insane.
Very luxury.
But because of that, it's just like this, I don't know, attainable but unattainable aesthetic. That you want, that only you know. And like when I feel like I'm wearing a piece of theirs, the only people that would know are other people who like are in this secret world, because it's nothing screams. Now I do like Acne Studios because I like the art side of what Acne Studios does a lot, and I think that's like a fun world to be in. The Rose world is very zen and aesthetic, and then Acne Studios is like, let's party, let's have fun.
Yeah.
But I think an interesting brand that we recently came, and I'm curious, like what brand you think of when you think of someone that pulls you in.
Yeah.
The Hotel Corazon.
Oh yeah.
In Spain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of them, but I'm
gonna look them up though.
This is very niche.
It's very niche.
Okay.
We
not anymore.
Yeah, it's very cool. So it's in Mallorca in Spain.
Okay.
It's on the top of a mountain. And it's a couple that met in Mexico at art school, and they moved back to Mallorca, and they're like, let's open a hotel. All driven by aesthetics, from exactly what people wear as soon as you walk in.
Really?
To it's just amazing, and everywhere, and all of their like marketing is physical print marketing. So you go and you grab this. I actually think I have the newspaper back there.
Yeah.
It's just so
So it's
well
all word
done.
of mouth.
Yeah.
Basically.
They have cool digital presence.
They have very cool Instagram.
But that's not what pulls you
hot
into the
people not wearing a lot of clothes. Like
that'll sell anything.
But it's designed in a way that's not like anything else you see.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that's the way I would describe
because
it.
It's not like the pretentious, like I don't know, like a Four Seasons. It's not like a chain, a big chain or anything like that. It's
pretentious in a way of like, you got to be fucking cool.
You have to be cool to be here.
Yeah, which is way more pretentious to me, or way more aspirational than you have to spend a lot of money to stay at the Four Seasons.
Exactly.
100%.
It's not even that expensive.
Yeah.
The hotel's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's probably not cheap either.
No, it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
But
when you walk in there, like,
it's not the Belmont, which is right down the road.
Which is like stuffy.
Yeah.
It's just you feel like you're in this special world.
And you know what's funny on this topic? I've thought about this so many times. Like, it's really easy to sit on your computer one night and be like, I'm going to come up with a brand just like that. Yeah. I could do that, right? I could create all these things, but to execute on that is such a different thing entirely.
Yep.
And to be able to execute on that consistently at a high level, like, I do my best with Aug11. I do my best with the branding, but I have missed the mark. Like, my idea of what I wanted it to be is up here. I'm probably somewhere like 70% of the way there, but I know we could do so much better. And that's a beauty of being able to build something over a course of an extended period of time, to be able to elaborate on that and grow on that. But I know, like, one day when I exit Aug11, and then I'm going to really spend some time and like hopefully get 90% of the way there. But to be able to, when I see brands like that, it's really easy for people from the outside to just be like, oh, that's cool. It's another thing to know what it's like to operate a brand and be like, they fucking nailed it. That's so hard. So hard to do. And it's not just a couple people.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And if it is a couple people, that's all they do. They probably don't release a lot of product, you know? Like, to be able to execute on that is such like a beautiful thing. Like the art of execution on branding at that level is like, it just keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It takes love. Like, it really does. It takes so much love.
And tremendous effort.
And effort.
Absolutely.
Time, energy. It's got to be what you want to do all the time.
Yeah.
And it's all you think about.
Exactly.
You obsess over it.
You probably get this a lot, because we get this. People, when we have our agency that does a lot of corporate work, and everyone's like, oh, I'm going to quit my job because I want to do what you all do. I want to have this agency. And how do you do it?
Okay.
And it's like, well, a lot of sleepless nights. Like, so many people will be like, oh, I think I could do what you do. And
I know how to use Photoshop.
Oh yeah. And I literally am like, I actually will help you. Like, we'll help you get to as far as you can. Like, if that's truly what you want to do. but most people just give up like so fast.
Yeah.
Do you have like, do people, oh yeah, I could do like a hat brand, or I could do a clothing brand, or
Got to. People have to
like
say
people have to say that, or like, bro,
I thought about doing that.
I've always thought about doing that.
I don't get a lot of that.
Really?
To be entirely honest.
That surprises
No,
me.
I don't know. I also don't like, I don't know. Maybe, and I've just maybe not paid attention to it. That's
Yeah.
possible. I haven't gotten a lot of that.
That's
for
so
some
interesting.
reason. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause
I get a lot of people. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a douchebag here at all, but I get a lot of people praising me for what I've done.
Yeah.
And maybe that speaks to, again, I'm 35 years old. I'm not this young guy who's out here running around with anybody and everybody, right? I try to surround myself mostly with other business owners or other people in their creative realm, like John Paul or like my videographer or other people who like are very good at what they do. And I feel like those type of people recognize the effort that it takes to actually build something, no matter how halfway decent it is. I'm sure there's some people out there who look at me and go, fuck that guy. I mean, when I started my company, the entire reason I did it was because I spent a weekend on the boat with one of the co-founders of Carte Blanche. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they're a streetwear brand based out of Atlanta. He was no longer part of the company, but he was telling me about the back end of their business. And I was like, if this fucking guy can do that, no offense to him. Like, he's a very smart guy, obviously, and he's got a good aesthetic. And like, but I knew that I've been doing this for 10 years. And I was like, if this guy can fucking do this, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And then I started up and did it. But I'm one of the few people who probably has the experience to be able to actually execute on that. And actually I had a leg up because I know everything there is to know about the fashion space for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I guarantee you there's someone out there saying the exact same thing about
100%.
you.
Absolutely.
But the hard part is the execution.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
that is the
And
hard
there's
part.
probably somebody who's going to do it better than me.
Yeah.
You know, truth be told, like there's probably quite a few people who are going to do it better than me. But like, also there's consistency and there's life experience and being able to manage. It's not just being creative either. It's being creative and being able to be a business mind also. And like, I've realized that is one of the things that I have. I am very creative, but I also know how to balance it out with the business side of it. And I can do both of it very well, you know, and I don't have to have a co-founder. Like I own 100% of the company, which is thank God.
So what's the vision for the future for Aug11?
So we obviously started with our Reps athletic wear, our athletic hats. The idea is to build this into a full cut and sew apparel collection. I'm currently sourcing manufacturers to be able to, I have
a call tomorrow that I'll fill you in on.
Okay.
After, because I've been digging into this deeply as well. So
it's an interesting world. Like finding a hat manufacturer, I went through probably 10 to 15 different samples until I found the right one. And luckily I did that because our hat cost came down 90% compared to what I was doing before.
Yeah.
And now our t-shirts were basically just screen printing on blanks.
Yeah.
Obviously like there's very much like taste and stuff that goes into that, but I have these ideas for what I want to create when it comes to apparel. And like, I just cannot execute on that with the options that I currently have. And it works for now. And I like some of the stuff that we do, but I really want to be able to hone in on my vision, build custom silhouettes. And I know that's going to take a lot of time and effort. But we will go into a full cut and sew apparel line, hoodies, t-shirts, pants, denim, et cetera, and also thinking about when it comes to like the analytical, logical side, like you're increasing AOV. You know, if we're spending, $35 to acquire a customer, I would like for them to spend $150 at a time instead of, $72 on average.
Yeah.
So obviously that plays into it. And then I'm very much working on developing a lot more athletic headwear. So we have our main hats, some athletic headwear. We'll go into full cut and sew apparel. And then we'll start developing more and more athletic headwear because that just integrates into my life so easily. The type of people I interact with, we can just hand them out and market it that way. And then I would like to go into a full like athletic line at some point down the road, very similar to what Represent has done. So they were streetwear, and then they kind of elevated their aesthetic, and then they went into a little bit of athletic wear, and then now it's full blown athletic wear. So we'll probably
I feel like all their energy is athletic wear.
Yeah.
it seems to be that way, but that's because their normal streetwear apparel is so solidified foundationally that they can do $125 million a year on that, and then they could do $60 million a year on their athletic stuff, and then probably eventually their athletic stuff will probably outpace their normal streetwear stuff, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And Represent is just men's clothing, right?
No, they started doing women's
started doing
recently.
women's?
just came
okay,
out
because
with
when you
women's.
told me about it,
Yeah.
I remember looking and it was
They just launched a women's athletic line.
okay. I'll
Yeah.
It
go
is
look at
interesting though. I looked at their women's stuff when they released it. They didn't have a big marketing push on it. At least maybe I didn't see it because I'm a man.
Yeah.
That's very possible as well. But I saw the way that they released it and the way they had it online, and like I've analyzed brands just since I've been in the space. I've always been so hungry to understand things. And I think that the way that they did the rollout of their women's wear, again, here's me fucking nitpicking. These guys are doing $200 million a year, right? Like, no disrespect whatsoever. Clear whatever they're doing.
George is listening.
Maybe he is. You never know. Maybe he's a secret #1 listener. Maybe. But like the way that they released their women's wear stuff, I was like, they kind of missed on this. You know, like some of the pieces that they did, I was like, why would you do this way when clearly just from a consumer, I see what women are wearing. I'm like, you guys didn't do this, and this. It was a very interesting rollout. So I'd be very curious to see how their women's wear stuff does. Obviously, they have the capital to be able to do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But
I agree. To me, it almost felt like an experiment.
Yeah,
exactly.
So what did it look like? I don't think I've even seen.
It's mainly black and white.
Yeah.
And no, it's not anything where you're like, oh, I couldn't tell that from any other brand.
Yeah.
It looks very much like just.
It was almost like, why didn't you guys just copy what Skims is doing?
Yeah.
That would have been a lot easier to do than try
Yeah.
to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that is where women are going. Just do that.
Yeah,
you guys already
exactly.
make that for men, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah, it's an
that's
interesting
interesting.
brand for sure.
I
I
love
actually didn't
them.
know about them until they started making 24/7.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know about the original.
Yeah. Have you ever
Streetwear
watched
brand.
any of their YouTube stuff?
I mean, I've seen it on Instagram. I've never like sat down and watched
Their
it.
vlogs are fascinating to
I
me.
mean, the amount of
Fascinating to me.
time. I mean, he basically, the founder has a cameraman following him 24/7,
Which is what I want to do at some point. I'm almost there.
and then-
I'm almost there.
they
That's
put out
my
these
nightmare.
they put out these long form like
Yeah.
videos of
Like once a week.
building the brand. It's building the brand.
And
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
just buy
Love
into
it.
it. And it's
Yeah.
like they get 30 to 50 to 80,000 views per. It's not, they're not raking in the money off.
Yeah.
It's not Mr. Beast views, but like it is such a core part of their business where people can buy into sort of their world.
Yeah.
Speaking of YouTube stuff, you
Yeah.
had just said that you watched a documentary about some running thing.
Satisfy.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch the Moab 240, The King of Moab
No.
by Max Jolliffe?
No, I've heard of this.
You have.
Other people recommended
So
this.
I got sober with Max Jolliffe in Costa Mesa, California.
Wow.
He lives a street over from my mom. I cannot speak highly enough about that documentary. It is one of the only running documentaries that I have ever watched that is truly like, it made me feel so many different emotions. And maybe because I know the guy, it made me feel a different type of way.
Yeah.
But like, it was one of the most, anybody listening to this, go watch King of Moab. It's from the Moab 240 2024, I believe.
Yeah.
Just fucking phenomenal piece of content.
All right, well, add it
We
to the
will add it
list.
to the list because I've heard of so many good things about it, but we just haven't watched
It
it
is
yet.
so
Yeah.
Someone else just recommended it.
It's like an hour long. You will be sucked in the entire time.
Yeah.
Like truly phenomenal content.
Trail runners are like another beast.
It's
a whole nother.
you got to be.
Yeah.
you
I
gotta
mean,
be a
I
little-
run trails, but I've got like demons, so it makes sense.
It makes you're running away from them.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah, on the dirt.
We rode bikes in Moab and almost didn't return.
Oh my God.
Really?
We literally almost died.
What happened?
We got lost.
It was
And it was like 110 degrees.
maybe
no. Ran out of water.
a route that we just kind of picked up and overestimated.
We ended up going through like the state park to get to Arches on gravel bikes because we saw a guy had done he had posted like gravel ride on Strava, and so we just took his route. And
We'll
we're
just
like,
copy his route.
We're like, well, he
We
was
do
like-
that all the time.
He's like,
Yeah.
you went back and he did it maybe like once a week. So we're like, oh, this must be. But he had to have been on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
So we do it, and we were not on mountain bikes.
Yeah.
So
Basically, you get
we
to a point where you're
hiked
like,
for,
that was
7
so
miles.
shitty. I can't turn around and go back.
Yeah.
I have to just keep going.
We
because that was
carried
so-
our bikes for 7 miles.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Through basically sand, and then I was like, I was like not a tiger. I was like a mountain lion,
Panther,
or
yeah.
panther, or
Yeah.
something is gonna like.
Tracks.
Yeah, we saw like giant cat tracks, and I was
Oh,
like, oh
no.
no, we're not gonna be able to outrun this cat. We can't even get on our bikes.
That's brutal.
The listeners have heard this before.
Yeah,
so-
it was scary.
Yeah.
But Moab, I can't imagine running through Moab though.
It's crazy. 240 miles.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With like 30-minute nap breaks. Just insanity.
Yeah.
True insanity.
What's your timeline look like on the athletic hats that we're talking about? The running hats.
I'm in
Yeah.
the process of designing them right now. So
Okay.
realistically, they'll probably come out like March to April of next year, depending on how quickly I get these samples in. It's also something that I want to really take my time with developing. Depends on how many times I have to go back and forth. Luckily, my manufacturer understands what I like.
Yeah.
And he's usually pretty good at getting the samples correct on the first run. But we'll see. I mean, I still have some like customizing I want to do on the silhouettes and stuff like that, but probably first quarter, if not end of second quarter next year.
Just in time for run season.
Yes.
They're going to do really well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
That's
Yeah.
going to be.
I'm very excited to get them out. And like it's such a part of my world. You know, I know all these people, these influencers, it's like things that I wear, things that I want. And I know other people want it too. And it's like the running hats that everybody wears are BPN's Go One More CLA hats. I hate the way those hats fit. I love what Nick Bear does. Nick Bear actually bought the Lord Forgive Me hat and was wearing it on his Instagram the other day, which I've seen. Aaron Judge has worn our hats, but when Nick Bear wore it, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, oh yeah. But like, I want to make cooler running hats. Like they don't really exist.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
It's very campy, or it's like Nike.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was asking about, because I think there's definitely a need there.
Yeah, 100%.
For women, I mean, like for women too.
She wears them.
Like I struggle with finding good running caps. I mean, the one I probably wear the most, the one I wear the most is like an Adidas running cap because it fits my head the best.
Yeah.
From like Peachtree Road or the Thanksgiving Half or something. But then the Bandit running caps are good, but they're like a little.
They're also simple too. They're
they
just
like
black.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing like. And then a lot of the guys wear the CLA, like those, but...
Is that how you say it, CLA?
I don't know. Maybe it's CLA.
I have no clue.
If it's Italian, it's CLA. But
one of the best running hats I've ever owned, but it was way too small in my head. MAP. They did that Arrivals collab, the pink jacket. And then they did the running hat with it. I was so excited to get it, and it sat like a yarmulke on my head. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to wear this? You know?
Yeah.
But I want to recreate stuff like that, like the things that I've seen that are like, oh, it was so close.
Yeah.
Just really cool fabrics and interesting. Like I have such a vision for what I want to accomplish with it. And I think they're going to be so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look out for them.
Definitely.
Sweet.
One thing on my list, because you do ride bikes, do you know what half wheeling is?
Half wheeling?
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue. Is that like a Fred?
When you're riding someone
Freds do it.
and you kind of have an established pace, and it's not like we're like training hard, but we're just kind of like riding tempo, and the guy is just like slightly ahead of you.
Okay.
And it's annoying because then you're having to go a little bit, and you just keep going, and it's just like
it's almost like he's fucking with you.
But it's
a
like
lot of times
unconscious.
it's like an unconscious thing, and there's only certain guys that do it, and even when you call them out, they don't understand.
Women do it too. Women do it really
One of my
bad.
best friends does this to me running.
That's what I was going to ask
I
you.
hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. His name's
a-
Kayvon Nazarian, you motherfucker. And every time I run with him, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, why are you going faster? We're running together.
Exactly.
We're already at like,
and he's like talking backwards to you. Yeah.
Or he's just going, and I'm like, we're going to the same place, dude.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Call him a half wheeler.
Well, I
it's
asked
terrible.
Nikki if
I
that
hate
happens in running, and she was like, that's a good question
I hate
for
it.
Tony. Okay.
I hate it.
And that's because he's like, and I notice it. There's a couple people I run with, mostly women, and they will like be half step ahead of me. And I'm like, so are we going at the pace we talked about, or are we not?
It just makes it confusing.
Yeah. And so I'm like, because you said you want to go slow, and now you're going really fast.
Yes.
So like, I can go fast, but like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And they're like talking back and I'm like, maybe I just notice it, or I'm sensitive to it because
That's when
of
you
cycling.
just step back.
Right.
You slow down your pace like 15 seconds.
Exactly.
And they're like, see you later. And they're like, oh, yeah, fuck you.
No, I literally did that the other day, and I finally just was like, I'm just gonna like disappear behind a bush and like just see how long it takes.
I've gotten very much to the point on runs where if I'm running with people and they want to go faster, I'm like, have fun, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
fine
like, good
being
luck.
by I'll just keep my headphones in.
Yeah.
See you later. I know where I'm going.
Exactly.
I'm a big boy.
Same.
I'll be okay.
Now I will say Jacob is a good running buddy because I
Jacob
did
is a
I
great
did a
running
23
buddy.
mile run with him, and he got me through that. Like I was
Really?
so thankful that he was there. I was just
Yeah.
he was like, you got this, keep going. I'm like, thank
He's
you.
a great running buddy.
He's
he's a new
such-
friend of mine, and I fucking love that
He's
kid.
he's a very positive. Like when I first met him, I told Michael, I was like, you need to hang out with this Jacob guy because he's quirky, but
He's definitely quirky.
But he's very kind, and like he has a
And he's
genuine-
real. He's a little crass.
Yeah.
People get off put by his crassness sometimes.
Definitely.
But I'm the kind of guy that appreciates it because I know he's being honest.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
like the realness. Like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you can say weird things, but I'm like, but if it's true to you, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's not trying to fool anybody or pull the wool over anybody's eyes. He's like, this is
Exactly.
who I am, man. Take it or leave it, you know?
Exactly.
Shout out to Jacob. He's going to love this
At
episode.
Not
I
Really
know.
Wellness, he just ran a 5K around his table in his apartment. And then he ran a 5K.
His coffee table.
And then he ran a 5K around a bird bike
bird
this
scooter
morning.
or bike, yeah. I literally am going to be like, I have errands for you to run if you really have that much time on your hands.
Give it to him. Like, hey, can you run a 5K to go pick up my dry cleaning?
Exactly.
You'd probably do it.
Run around the dry cleaner.
If he
until-
thinks it'll get him followers, he'll do it.
I mean, he's getting a lot more followers.
He is,
pretty
yeah.
quickly,
He
so.
is bending the algorithm to his will.
Yeah, we'll see.
Quite
I'm
literally.
genuinely following it out of pure interest to see if it works.
It will happen.
I think he should do it in the forum. I think he should pick
No.
the weight up and just do it in the forearm.
No,
and
we've
people
been
will
trying to
watch.
get him to do it inside of a Kroger until they kick him out.
Yes.
That'd be funny too.
I don't think you can get kicked
or,
out of Killer Kroger.
or do
though.
a 5K
Or
around
murder
a sleeping
Kroger.
homeless man until they wake up. I think that would be
Yes.
phenomenal.
Yes.
There's plenty of those in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
there's a lot of things. Or like
did
he
it.
could go down to Peaches and go into Peaches, the strip club, and do it inside Peaches
Might get kicked out of that.
Until-
Might get kicked out of that.
until he gets kicked.
That's
That would be
amazing.
funny.
That would be hilarious. If he keeps throwing money every loop, they'll probably let him stay.
Exactly. I mean,
Be
hey,
the most expensive 5K ever.
okay. I feel like we have to crowdfund this.
Oh, I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it.
Amazing.
Cool.
Well, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you doing this.
I'm
taking
very
the
happy to be
time,
here. Thank you guys for having me.
We'll see you on the Beltline, and everyone can. How do people find you? What's the best
My
way?
personal Instagram is at jrp.co. The business Instagram is at aug11co. Website www.aug11.co. Buy one, get one 50% off, 30-day no questions asked, money back guarantee, free shipping on all orders in the United States. If
There
you
you
can't
go,
tell, I've
people.
done this quite a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, people.
We need to have him press train Michael.
Happily.
But we'll put all that in the show notes as well, so
Awesome.
people can click on everything.
Very cool.
But yeah, this was fun. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
Cool,
thank
thanks.
you.
All right.